gonna start that again. Hello. This is Fridays with Goodman with Martin and Dr. Larry Goodman. Martin Casado here. You don't see me on the live there, but this is how we're doing it right now. You'll see Larry looking off to his camera, but he's actually here on my recording because we put these later on the website at goodmanfactor.com blog, and you can see all of our podcasts. This is podcast number 12, and basically rapid fire questions that I give on trending topics. You and I have a lot of conversations before we actually do some work on the Goodman Factor, and it's always very enlightening and very helpful for myself and perspective. And it's also your experience and your cycles is what I love about hearing is a lot of these things happen over and over. So failure to repeat history, what happens if you don't learn about it?
If you fail to learn the lessons of history, you're doomed to repeat them.
Exactly. So that's something, an advantage that I have, and I think we're getting some good replies on this. And again, if any of you have any other questions after this, you can put the questions on our live there and check them out. See our rapid fire questions there. Hold on a second. Let me pause that. All right, just watching you there. All right, it's interesting. Two perspectives. All right, so let's start this today. How you doing today on this Friday morning?
It is a beautiful South Florida day. I have to confess, I've had a major episode of weather gloat because my days this week have been with clients from all over the world and all over the country where most people's temperatures have been like in single digits or even minus. And let's just say South Florida has been glorious.
Yeah, I've been walking the beach every morning, my morning ritual, and I love it. So yeah, I do feel bad for the Texans. It's a big freeze, and they're not even they've never had this weather in 30 or 100 years. I don't even know the things there. So I feel bad for you, and my heart goes out to that cold. It shall be warm soon enough. So let's get into this. Let's get into our rapid fire questions here. So the first one,
let's do it.
This first one is something that I talk a lot about with you, and it's with so many mediums. I mean, I think the other day you talked to me about like a client called me and he talked to me through Facebook Messenger, but then the other one talked to me through Skype, and then the other one went to all the other mediums and Instagram DM me. So I don't know which is the one should we narrow this down to. So what are the benefits and detriments in what we call input aphasia? It's just too many things are coming at us. What are your thoughts on that?
So one of my mentors in healing technologies, at the end of the seminar manuals, when they would put out the information for gathering further information, the section was called Where to Go for What. And it seems very much like what's happening in the world right now is there's a fractioning and a separation taking place of messages designed for each specific messenger. And let me explain what I mean. Back in the day, a long time ago in a land far away from here, there were two magazines, Look and Life. And there were 3 television channels, ABC, NBC, and CBS. And there was a phone. And that was it. And if you wanted to get information, you read one of the magazines or you watched one of the 3 television channels. And then something happened. And then another something happened. And we've now gotten to the point where it's literally a question of who do you want to reach, how do you want to reach them, and what's the message? Because if you try to reach somebody and you use the wrong medium, first of all, nobody answers the phone. Second of all, email is evidently dead or dying. Even text messaging has become the new email. And Facebook, if you tell your millennial kids that you're on Facebook, they don't want to have anything to do with you because Facebook is so 40, 50, 60 years old plus. So the question is, what's the problem? Actually, the question is, what's the point? And I really believe what you mentioned is part of what's going on. Input aphasia happens when there's so much input in so many different parts that your mind goes numb. And so instead of it being what I said at the beginning, it used to be that there was clear messaging that people could pay attention and think coherently about. Now the messaging is so obscure that no one is being convinced of anything because everybody is choosing the input that's aligned with their already existent belief systems. And then all that happens is the ones that you're aligned with, you agree with because you agreed with them before. And the ones that you're not aligned with, you disagree with and you hate them. And that's what's going on in the world right now.
Right. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. And that's right. It helps to have a growth mindset and a strong mindset. This has helped me through all these times, especially all throughout last year here and myself working with you as well. Let's go on to the next question. It's kind of a touchy subject, but in the same sense, COVID has been around here and then it has its effects. But right now they're showing the statistics of a lot of the suicide rates are just beyond the actual numbers of COVID, obesity and so many other things. Have you ever seen a long-term cycle like this before, or that, the actual source?
As far as we know, there's never been a cycle anything like this before.
Right.
The big issue fundamentally is that all of the strategies that are being recommended when you follow the science, all of those strategies designed to contain the virus are strategies designed to undermine your mental health. Yes, I said it that way. They're strategies designed to undermine your mental health. Isolation, staying at home, not exercising, eating crappy food, not having a purpose, not having a job, not having a place to go, all will undermine mental health. So while you're working on, your social distancing and wash your face and wear the mask and all that other stuff, not Fauci, not anybody is standing up at a platform and saying, listen, if you don't get the virus, but you go insane, how well is that going to work?
That is truth. That is the truth. So on to the next question. And not to be so blunt, to want you, this is a rapid fire, so I'm not just switching subjects. So the next thing here is
rapid fire is blunt. It's good. It's fine. Let's go.
An icon, I guess, in the conservative world, actually made up the conservative. What are your thoughts, and what are you growing up with Rush Limbaugh passing away?
Rush Limbaugh, he will be sorely missed. He was truly a historic figure, and I have to say, I was one of the early adopters. I started watching him. He had a television show, listening to him on the radio. There's nobody in talk radio who doesn't owe their career, their success, their identity to Rush Limbaugh. He was that kind of a figure. And he sustained it. What's that?
On the conservative side, bringing in a conservative.
Well, yeah, but the truth is, even on the liberal side, he set the tone for how to go about conducting a talk radio program.
Right.
There was no talk radio before. There was music, news, and DJs. The notion of having someone sitting in a studio talking to a mic and having people listen for 1, 2, and ultimately his format for 3 hours, just listening to one person, no guests even, he invented that. And I can tell you that even even doing these Facebook Lives, 5 minutes of air is a long time to fill. And I gratefully accept my opportunity to interact with Martin so that it fills the time and it feels good. Rush did it for years, the bulk of the time, just him holding the air for 3 hours.
And 30 years, I heard that was it.
Yeah,
Right?
30 years.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Next thing, question number 4. Ted Cruz and going on vacation during this.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I don't understand.
Well,
for me, I don't think it's a big deal, but I know that it might be controversial. But you went on vacation. What is he gonna do in these 3 days? Like, but anyways, what are your thoughts on him going on vacation?
what do I? First of all, I'm jealous. I'm jealous he got to go to Cancun. He was being a good father. He took his kids because there was not a lot positive happening in Texas where he was. You had, there was no heat in the house. What's a father going to do with his kids when there's no heat and not going to be any heat for the foreseeable future? So are they vilifying him? Sure, they're vilifying him. Why? Because it's politics. And it's the politics of personal destruction. I don't waste my time on it. My advice is don't waste your time on it.
Yes, exactly. Number 5, this is a topic on Cuomo. Now they're showing statistics, because we live in Florida. So we have DeSantos, and he's done some decisions here. But Cuomo, they gave him an Emmy. He has a book. He has all these things. And now they're just showing the stats of that. They hid these stats. So what are you seeing? And have you seen this before in the future?
Cuomo is the living, breathing demonstration of what my mentor, John DeMartini, calls the infatuation resentment cycle. The higher you rise in public perception, the higher regard the public has for you, the more inevitable will be your rapid fall. And it doesn't help matters if you're lying. It really doesn't help. Because the data he was putting out, and as obnoxious as he was literally asking to be taken down. And when you ask to be taken down, the universe obliges you. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets impeached too. Because you know what? What goes around comes around.
All right. Well, we'll end it right there. That was some pretty cool advice. And if you have any other questions, you can always put it on. You don't have to shut the Facebook Live. You can leave it on. Did you shut it off?
Not yet.
Oh, yeah. Just leave it on. Don't worry about that.
So I'm learning too.
Yeah, you're learning process here. If you have any other questions or stuff you want me to ask them, you can leave comments there on the Facebook, and we'll look at them. You can also go to goodmanfactor.com. You can also see, and you can go to the website and see our actual blog, but I can show Fridays at Goodman, a book that we wrote together, and my experience and my coaching experience and transformations through the Goodman Factor, and that's why we call this Goodman Fridays with Goodman. To learn more about Larry, you want to tell a little about yourself, Larry, where they can find you? And
you can find me at goodmanfactor.com. You can find me at drlarrygoodman.com. You can find me by hopping on a call with me. You can find me on the YouTube channel. I've come to know what I used to say. I'm very Googleable.
Very Googleable. You Googleably. So very cool. All right, awesome. Hope you have an amazing day, an amazing weekend, everybody. Again, if you have any questions left, just leave them in the comments. Thank you, Dr. Larry Goodman.
All right. Make it a great one.